wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Jess is on maternity leave, so Long Rosa is filling in. And we got a special guest in the building.
We about to mess up so many people's heads because they're going to be in their car like, am I listening to the right station right now?
We got the brother Rickey Smiley here. Welcome, brother.
Man, thank you for having me, man.
How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. It's a dream to be here.
Stop it.
I lay in the bed and I sit here and I just scroll and watch all y'all videos. I've been a fan for years.
Hold on, I want to say something before we get started with the conversation. Man, I saw Rickey a couple of weeks ago. I saw him in New Orleans at the Inspire NOLA event.
Yep.
And I went up to him and I said something that I'm going to say now. I want to publicly apologize.
I was just about to ask that.
To Rickey Smiley, because several years ago I gave Rickey Smiley Donkey of the Day because a radio executive asked me to.
Yeah.
And you didn't deserve that, brother.
Thank you.
And so when I saw you, I told you that, and I wanted to say that again publicly because I feel like if you do something to somebody publicly that you don't agree with, you should publicly apologize for it. So I want to say that to everybody, all our listeners. I want them to hear me say that you didn't deserve that, and I want to apologize to you again.
I appreciate that, man. The first time when you walked up on me, man, your energy, man, the love and the respect. It takes a big person. I know that it was all part of the game because we have a mutual, one of your employees is one of my mentees.
Who?
And, Big Mack.
Mack.
Oh,
Mack,
yeah.
Mack started us as an intern.
Oh, yeah.
He started us as an intern and got to where he is.
Well, I put him on stage. I'm the first one to put him on stage.
That's dope.
We'll talk about that because I put a lot of them on stage.
Yeah.
Gave a lot of comics their start or whatever. I've been in the game 35 years. Mm-hmm. But I really appreciate that, man, and don't feel no kind of way about it. I didn't take it personally, but, it takes a special kind of person to apologize and stuff like that. And I thought nothing of it because if I thought anything bad, I wouldn't even be here.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? But I love you. I appreciate you, man. I think you're doing a fabulous job. I met you at the White House.
Yep.
I was excited about that. I hear you in Florida all the time.
Mm-hmm. We see each other on the road every once in a while. I see you on the road
always
as well.
Running into you,
absolutely.
and it's a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you too.
I was gonna start that, but now we ain't even got to go there because I was gonna ask at one time. Everybody was throwing shots, and I was like, I'm just glad that
It wasn't everybody. It was my.
He threw a shot back too.
He did.
Shot back.
I don't remember. But
See,
it was
we from the South. We can go outside and just wrestle.
Wrestle. Not at this big age. Not at this big age.
He might have called you short.
Y'all wrestle now, somebody might not get up, okay?
Yeah, I might pull something at my age.
Yeah, okay.
I done got up there.
Rickey might have called you short, bald-headed, fake Boris Chestnut.
But the crazy thing is we all got so many mutual people, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's Mr. Harvey, whether it's Lil Duval, whether it's Mack. Yeah. So it's just like, what are we doing?
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. We getting older. We don't have time.
That's right. Well, you got a new book out right now.
Yes, sir.
Sideshow.
Yes, sir.
Sideshow.
Now talk about what's Sideshow about?
Okay, you know the song that your parents, everybody parents, let the sideshow begin.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Hurry, it's about a sad clown, right? My job as a professional comedian is to go on stage and make people laugh. And I lost my son about a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And it's been hard because the bills don't stop coming. I'm still a performer.
Right.
I still have to go on stage. And I had to dig deep and get in some real deep therapy to get myself together so I can continue as a performer. Because if I worked at, Amazon, lifting boxes or delivering packages, that's one thing. But when your job is to make people laugh, when you're crying on the inside with the trauma that I experienced, that's what the song Sideshow talk about. See the man with a broken heart. You can see that he is sad. It hurts so bad. See the girl who collect broken hearts as souvenirs. It's all about a clown in a circus performing, but dealing with stuff on the inside.
I've watched you grieve out loud online, and the only reason I don't like that, it has nothing to do with how you feel.
Yeah,
I know how people react.
Yeah,
and when you're already dealing with something, when you're already dealing with trauma, and then you give it to people online, then they come at you. How do you deal with that?
Oh, no, it didn't bother me, Charlamagne. My job was I had to help other people because the reason I was open with it is a lot of mothers out there that lost their 18-year-old, 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 15-year-old. My son was 32. When we were in New Orleans, your book signing was right after mine. And I had a couple that had lost their 2-year-old, right?
Wow.
And that's some of the things that I talk about in the book. it gave me, it gives you glimmers of hope and the glimmers of inspiration, even during traumatic times, right? So my son was 32. Well, this couple sitting out here crying at my book signing, their son was only 2.
Wow.
And I could have lost my son at 2, but God allowed me to have, 30 years, 32 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a little gratitude from that. And it's crazy that you can get gratitude from something like that, and you start looking at, it's a helpful tool. The book is a helpful tool for people that's going through the grief process, because there's a lot of people out there, and my book signing has been packed with people that have lost their kids.
How do you still believe,
Salute the
right?
Baldwin books too in New Orleans. Yeah.
How do you still believe, right? You talk about losing your father at the age of 6, right? And then you lose your son. How do you just not say, you know what, there is no higher power? How do you still remain focused and still have belief and still have hope and still have all of that with going through the pain that you've gone through?
I grew up in Birmingham, man, so, I got that old Southern Christian background.
That's right.
I went to Sunday school every Sunday, so I just have some strong beliefs in a close relationship with God, because it was nothing and nobody to lean on. I was in an apartment in Dallas, Texas by myself, when I found out that my son passed, and I had an hour and a half. I had an hour to make it to the airport, and I'm packing a bag and on the phone with my other kids, letting them know what happened,
Wow.
and trying to get myself together and preparing myself to lead, because my family needed me. It didn't really hit me until a year later, right? But at that time, my son has a mother and a wonderful stepfather, so I had to protect them. I had to protect my mother, who was really close to my son, because my mother, recovering addict. My mother had 35 years clean. Had to protect her because they had a real special relationship, because she could identify with his struggle. Then I had to protect my other kids. I had 2 kids in college, getting ready to graduate college. My daughter that got shot, she was a senior in college, getting ready to graduate Baylor. And then I had my son graduating Alabama State, and then my oldest daughter. So just trying to get them and being calm, say, hey, here's what happened. Brandon didn't make it. I need you to meet me at the house immediately. Just real calm. I need you to text me. Let me know that you're on your way. Text me when you, let me know. Just all of that. I had to be calm. I had to be cool. I had to get in the car with my uncles who was crying. I had to turn the radio on, the R&B station. I had to turn on Frankie Beverly and Mays to go from the airport to the house. I'm comforting them because it reminded them of my dad's death, right? And so I'm just a child, man, that sat on the front row and watched my grandparents go through what they went through. And through my grandfather, I learned how to handle this situation, because that's how my grandfather handled it as well.
Did you ever, because losing somebody, especially someone so close, your son, it changes you. Did you ever, at first when you were trying to get to that, like, I guess like get through it, I don't know if you ever get through it, were you afraid that when you got back on stage that first time that like it wouldn't be the same, like your ability to kind of push through and make people laugh wouldn't be the same?
Nah, Charlamagne, one thing about funny, it don't change.
That's right. Yeah.
When you
find something to laugh at, especially in the trauma.
Yeah, when your ass hit that stage, man, them jokes come. Them jokes, like when you get somebody on the front row laughing, I cry all the way up. My first show was in Cleveland at the Harrah's Casino. And I cried from the hotel all the way to the venue, all the way backstage, blew my nose, did like that, made sure my nose was clean, and walked on stage and got them jokes. And cried after I got off stage, and I was calm. But I've been in therapy. I was getting therapy twice a week. So I was prepared to go on stage again. My son died on a Sunday. That Wednesday, I was back on the radio. They said, take as much time as you need. Well, either you lay in the bed and think about all of that, or you get your ass up and go do your morning show, go do your radio show, because all the mothers in Chicago and in Columbia and in Charleston and in Atlanta, all over the country, their kids died too. Much is given, much is required. You can't cancel the show. God put you in this position and put you in a leadership position, and you have to lead. And I still went to the Salvation Army like I do on a regular basis. I fed the homeless with my son's clothes in the car to go to the funeral home. That was a dark Wednesday.
Wow.
I'll never forget it. You have to do it. Everything, all of this stuff, and I don't want you to ever forget this, all of this stuff, Envy, is a test. It's a test. Our pastor's been teaching us that for years. It's a test. God is watching you through your struggles, through your trials and tribulations, and looking at you, seeing how you're going to handle this. Are you going to make it about you? Are you going to use this situation to help other people? But I was still smart enough to go ahead and get the help that I needed in the process, because I had to get therapy, because this trauma is a bad car accident.
How do you think you would have been reacting without the therapy?
Oh man, I probably would have been dead. I had my son was a comic.
No, I didn't know that.
Charlamagne, my son was a comedian.
So that's you.
I'll send you some clips. My son, man, I remember my son headlined his first gig at the Stardome in Birmingham, and I walked backstage. He was by himself. He had on some he had on some black pants, and I was roasting him because he had on a white shirt and some suspenders and a black bow tie. I was like,
what year was he here?
oh, that nigga, what you got on? He said, oh, Dad, you told me to dress nice. I said, okay, you look nice. I said, but I said, yeah, whatever. And he went on stage and performed. I stood backstage and I watched him perform, and he had a really good set. And he was doing headlining shows. He had just started, closing shows, man. He was funny. He had a kind of like a sense of humor, and he was being mentored by Roy Wood Jr.
Wow.
They're close. Roy, we all came from Birmingham, same radio station, all that stuff. So Roy was giving him some opportunities. And one time, now this is the funniest shit, he was on stage performing, so he had stayed at my house. Fucking left some clothes on the dryer. He took the clothes out of the washing machine, put it in the dryer, and then he took all the clothes and put the shit on top of the dryer. I was mad as hell, because I like you to, fold your stuff up and put your, man, I went to the comedy club, he was performing, he was on stage, I didn't care because I was mad. I went in the DJ booth and got on the microphone and said, when you get your ass off stage, you need to come fold these damn clothes up.
Oh my God.
And we got into a whole argument. And the audience was cracking up, but I was for real. And he was laughing it off and said, yeah, when you get off stage, you come home and get these damn clothes off my dryer. Slammed the microphone, ran and walked out the door. That's some funny stuff that I always enjoy talking about. But yeah.
How has it been, like, because when you write these books, you put a lot of, you put your most vulnerable, deepest thoughts into these books, and you got to go out here and do this.
Yep.
You got to have these conversations.
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
I've gotten used to it.
Okay.
Once you know how it is. Once you do one interview, you do another interview, you keep doing interviews, you just get accustomed to talking about it, and then you develop some really good talking points that's going to help other people. Because what people been telling me is the feedback that I've been getting is, hey, bruh, it's been helping me out. You know how many people walk up to me and said that they lost a loved one and they can't talk about it? And just because they hear you on the radio every morning, now they're coming out to your book sign. I have people walking up crying. Almost 90% of the people that come out about a book have suffered a loss and can't talk about it and do not go to therapy. So I've been promoting therapy, because when you roll your ankle, you don't pull out a Bible. You go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor, that's right.
Absolutely. The muscle, the brain is a muscle just like your ankle. Why is it that we black folks has this stigma that we won't go get help? That don't mean that you're crazy. You have to get somebody and talk to somebody that's going to help you process those feelings and emotions, because you can go into depression, start affecting other organs in the body. Some people don't make it from their loss. They die. So.
Well, a lot of times people, we've been taught as kids, you keep home business in the house, right? You never really talk about what happens inside your house. But like you said, that winds up killing you.
Absolutely.
That depression, that anxiety, all those facts, all those feelings.
Every time you cry envy, do you know that's like popping the cap off of a pressure cooker?
You're releasing, yeah.
I cried this morning.
Yeah.
Man, I sat on the side of my hotel bed. I was having some anxiety. I called a good friend of mine. She answered the phone when I heard her voice. I just started crying, bro. I just let it out. I just cried. I just needed to just cry. I felt it building up yesterday, and I just started crying. And the changing of the seasons, that affects you. I think they call it seasonal
depression.
Seasonal depression.
I've been dealing with anxiety and depression for my whole life, and I started going to therapy in 2016. And when I wrote a book about it in 2018, my dad read the book, and I had a cousin who completed suicide that week. And my dad told me that it was the week of Thanksgiving, 2018. I'm home in South Carolina, and he told me that between reading my book and my cousin completing suicide, he told me for the first time ever that he was going to therapy 2 and 3 times a week, that he tried to kill himself 30 plus years ago, and that in South Carolina, they put him on 10 to 12 different medications for his mental health. And I remember I asked my mom, I said, Mom, you know Dad was going through all this? And she said, I thought he was playing crazy to get a check. Because that's what they do in the South. They give you the crazy check.
Right.
But imagine if he would have had that conversation with me when I was young.
Exactly.
Just told me that. The way we're discussing it right now, imagine if we heard, older men in our life having that conversation early. We'd have known that the stuff we was going through was normal.
Yeah. My granddad never talked about it. My dad died. My dad was 26. My granddaddy didn't talk about it until he was like 85 because he would be at my house all the time, and I said, Granddaddy, what happened? My dad died here in New York. My dad died of a drug overdose here in New York. And my granddaddy was like, he just started telling me, it's like I was there when they brought your dad's body in. I stood there like a man. I was standing in the morgue when they rolled my son's body in there. Like I took that shit like a G. I didn't shed a tear. I just made sure everything was done properly. Brought the barber in, told the barber I want my son's mustache and beard done. And I stood right there and I took it. But all of that stuff.
You cried in the car though.
It hadn't really hit me. It's coming out in small pieces like this morning. Maybe this morning was some of it. And I didn't cry at the funeral because my granddaughter was looking at me. The whole time was like, peekaboo. Like, hey.
Because she didn't know what was going on. Yeah.
The whole while, she looking at me, we playing because, and I just had that memory of my grandparents crying.
Rickey, have you dealt with it then? Because it doesn't seem like you fully
dealing with it. It's a process.
It's a process. It's a process, bro.
Do you ever think about just giving away, just stopping? Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Was that ever a mind?
No, man, we got to save people, man. Listen, some have to die so others can live. You understand? And, no cross, no crown, bro. We have to go through what we have to go through, and we have to talk about it. And I'm just trying to break the generational curse of, number one, not talking about it, not going and getting therapy and getting help, and to talk about, drug addiction. I had a son and a nephew, age 32, and a niece. I had a niece, a son, a nephew, all died at age 32 within 2 years of each other.
Can you talk a little bit about that, like just in real time when they were here dealing with the addiction and trying to help them through it, and like also wanting them to get better, but addiction, understanding that like it kind of takes over where it's not even just them anymore. Like it's kind of it's a big beast.
Yeah, the only thing I regret, I didn't have a good understanding of the illness. Because I had a niece and a nephew that was cool and calm and respectful. Well, it didn't affect my son that way. My son would go off about stuff, and it damaged our relationship or whatever, because I didn't understand. Like, hey, I'm your dad. You can't say that to me. I'm driving around looking for you to fight you in the middle of the street. I raised you. I cooked food for you. You know what I'm saying? I washed your clothes. You slept in the bed with me when it was thunder and lightning. Don't say that to me, So I just didn't have a clear understanding of that, but I did everything I could to save his life.
Did you ever blame yourself at all?
Oh no, that's one thing I never felt. I never felt guilt. Now, I felt a lot of stuff, but guilt was not one of them. I did everything I could as a father to save his life. Rehab is $70,000 off the bat. Boom, like we did that twice, and my mom was trying to help him. I just couldn't get him. To get him well.
Would you do anything different as a dad during any of those times? And the reason I'm asking, Charlamagne
that's
has 4, I
question.
have 6, so I like to.
That's a good question. I wasn't tough on him. He was the one that I coddled. I was tough on my other kids. Like the other kids was like, I was just really, 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 really tough on them, and he was the one that I just kind of coddled and did everything for and took everywhere because that was my firstborn or whatever. I just wish that I was tougher. I know that sounds strange because it sounds like I should say I should have been easier on him. I was easy on him. I should have been tougher on him like I was the other kids.
What do we call tougher though? Because we come from the era. I was getting beat with extension cords, and my daddy made me go take a bath. I got to go
That's
right
abuse.
switch.
That's
I don't
abuse.
beat my kids. I don't even touch my kids at all.
Right.
So what do you call tough?
I just wouldn't give him, I don't think I popped Brandon. I hit him, I popped him a couple of times when he was about 14.
Yeah.
Made him go stand in the corner and go do that little thing right there. I'm gonna make sure those legs and those calves are straight. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. By the time I started getting tough on him, it was time for him to go off to college. But the other kids, like Malik, went to military school. Then he went to IMG Academy. So he had a military mindset. And I think that's what. But I tried to do that for Brandon because I sent him to the National Guard. You know what I'm saying? So my son served. He had a flag draped over his casket because he served our country. But I just think I coddled him a little too much. And it just loved on him. And he was the one I loved on, hugged on. And just up under me all the time.
Yeah, I don't. It's hard when you're a parent nowadays. Like I said, 'cause the era we grew up in. I be talking to my 9-year-old like she a basketball player. Like, but you wouldn't have survived in the '90s. You couldn't have played in the '90s. You'd been getting. But what my grandma and my mama and daddy was doing to me.
Right.
Please.
But
Come on, man.
But the key is, it's good that you talk to her with that coach voice.
Yeah.
Because we have to give kids more of what we had as opposed to what we didn't have.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You like who you are. You like how you turned out, right? Give that same thing to your kids.
Right.
And
The evolved version of you, I'm sure.
Right.
And and through therapy, I've learned to love every version of me. I think that's what you got to do in life. Like every version of you served the purpose.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In chapter 12 of your book, it's Let the Tears Fall. You said it took you a year for all of this to really like hit you.
Yeah.
What was that day like when you were like, I'm feeling it? Like that first time where it was like...
that 1 year anniversary, a few days before that 1 year anniversary, man, it hit me like he had just died. And I was sitting, I had just got off the air. I was down in South Florida because I didn't want to be in the house for that 1 year anniversary. I just wanted to go get away. And man, it hit me, man. And I was, I did some crying. I think it was a bad mistake for me to be there by myself, but I just kind of sat on the couch and just cried pretty much for a couple of days, like really cried because the only difference was I didn't have a casket and some flowers and some condolences, right? I had all of that to keep me distracted when it actually happened. I had to protect everybody. But that 1 year came, man, and it was terrible.
What about the chapter when addiction chases the bloodline? Was that difficult to write? Because you got to go through your whole generational lineage with that. Was that a difficult chapter to write?
No, it wasn't. It was just being open and honest. My dad struggled. My mom struggled. I had wonderful grandparents. My granddad talked to me every day, church, Sunday school. Hey, here's a trumpet, play that. Here's some piano lessons, let's go do that. I did trumpet, Little League football, did it all. My grandparents kept me busy with the discipline and instruction, talked to me every day, so I didn't have to, I didn't have those issues. And then he always talked about how my dad died. So don't do this. So I just stuck with it. And to this day, I don't drink or smoke.
I always wonder how grief impacts people who lost their parents at a very, very, very young age. Does it hit you later in life? Do you see somebody out with their parents and it hits you? Like, what is it?
It did when I was a kid, but what hurt me about my dad's death was watching my grandparents cry like that on the front row. I'm in therapy for that.
Wow.
That comes up in therapy. That wipes me out.
Wow.
That wipes me out more than my son's death.
Why?
I'm a grandmama's baby. Like you understand. You from the South. Like watching my grandparents cry like that on their front row, man, I can't get over it.
Yeah.
Even when my grandparents died, the only thing I could think about, their casket was in the same spot my dad's casket was. The only thing I could think about was them crying on that front row, April the 11th, 1974.
Wow.
I will never forget it, man. It tears my soul out of my body. I can deal with my son's death, but that's what I struggle with more than anything.
Wow.
And that's why I didn't cry at my son's funeral, because my granddaughter was watching me, and I
you didn't want to traumatize her like that.
Traumatize her like that.
Man,
Wow.
God dang, boy.
Yeah.
Life is a motherfucker.
I'm about to cry now, just
it.
sitting up here talking about this. Because
We about to all start crying.
Yeah.
I'm feeling
I just
it
want to
myself.
hug you.
Absolutely.
But that's what I don't
Yes.
understand about that's why I know this, like just putting this out there to the world and having to relive all these stories and retell these stories. Is it therapeutic or does it feel like you opening up a
Man,
wound?
this is therapy, because if I go and get in that car and start crying, that is helpful. It is helpful to cry. It was helpful for me to cry this morning. You understand? I'm good.
But I also think what you're doing is helping people that don't know how to deal with it and can't talk about it, because now they have a friend in you in this book, and they're saying, well, let me see how Rickey dealt with it. Let me see what the troubles he's going through. It is normal. I can feel this way, because a lot of times people feel like they're on their own.
Yeah.
And they don't have those feelings. So that's one amazing thing about this book.
Well, let's talk about something else for a second. You put on a lot of comedians, Rickey, and I think that coming from the South, right? People don't I don't think people realize how big you are sometimes. Like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they realize how much money you got, number one, but also how rich you are and just how big you are. And I think it's almost a stigma with comedians from the South. Like, they don't get the respect that they deserve, I think.
Yeah, I just do it for the love of the art. Charlamagne, Envy, I remember cussing D-Ray Davis out, snatching a drink out of his hand because he was too young to be drinking. Hey, give me that. You know, I had a little comedy club back in Birmingham called the Commonstone. So I would have like D-Ray, Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb was like, hey man, I ain't never been outside of Chicago. I was like, okay, cool, let's go on the road. You know, I would take those guys on the road, Corey Holcomb, D-Ray Davis, a lot of them, man, that Tyler, some of them have passed away. You know, I would just take them on the road and help them, because that's what Steve did for me. You know, don't nobody have to fool with you. You know what I'm saying? Some people can just ignore you. Steve was one of those guys, man, that was helping and training coming down. I started November the 13th, 1989.
Wow.
That's the first time I went on stage. I met Steve before he did Showtime at the Apollo. And then tell you a story. I wrote about it in my first book, and just talk about the discipline and the structure of comedy. I was dressed like Flavor Flav, because I thought that was the thing. And I'm doing a show with Steve. And Steve was like, listen, he said, people pay money to see us perform. Your outfit is nice. He said, but tomorrow, I want you to come dress better. I want you to dress. He said, I want you to dress nice. You know, Bruce Ayers, the owner, was standing in the door watching. I was embarrassed. I felt bad. I felt like my career was over. You know, my feelings were hurt. I was like, oh shit. You know, I don't want to blow an opportunity with Steve Harvey. Man, he said, you can go ahead and introduce me. He said, but tomorrow, let's get it together. I said, yes, sir. You know, because you can't say nothing nowadays. You can't correct nowadays because everybody's sensitive. I said, y'all give it up and show your love right now. But Steve Harvey, Queen, I'll never forget it. Queen Latifah come on for the love of money off that New Jack City soundtrack. And he came up, I'm talking about, it was electrifying. I wanted to stay there and watch. Man, I ran out that damn comedy club door. I jumped in my 1979 Toyota Corolla 4-speed. I peeled out of that comedy club driveway. I drove all the way across town. Ran in my apartment. Put on a suit. I had bought from Jeans West, because I used to work at Jeans West. You know, put my suit on, boom, tie, and I'm running, driving back. I made it back to the comedy club just in time. When I walked back in the door, he was like, all right, y'all been wonderful. God bless y'all. My name's Steve Harvey. Peace. And when I walked back up there and had that suit on, no, nigga, not tomorrow. Tonight.
That's what's up.
Right now.
What Steve said to you when he saw you?
So he dapped me up, and he, you know how he do.
Yeah, he pushed you. That's what I'm talking about.
You know how he do. He pushing. He let me up and down, and he said, I'm gonna talk to you after the show. I said, yes, sir. And
Steve's anointed, man.
Oh my God.
I don't care what nobody says.
You know, after the show, he said, follow this car right here. I followed him back to his hotel room. I sat on the edge of the bed and took a little notepad and a pencil, and he lectured me for about 2 hours. And me and another comedian sat on the edge of the bed and wrote notes. How to do this. Why not do this? You did this joke wrong. Why are you cursing on stage? Why are you dressed like this? AT&T is in the audience. You need to do this, da-da-da. I took all that stuff. I took it serious because I wanted to be great. I wanted to be better at what I did. And I ended up opening up for the Kings of Comedy. I did some shows where I did a few dates with the Kings of Comedy. You had to ride with Steve. You don't get your own limousine. You have to ride with him, so you have to be disciplined. Get in the limousine, keep your mouth closed, slide all the way up, put your back to the driver, speak when spoken to. I had to share dressing rooms with Steve. We frat brothers, but I'm not ever comfortable enough just because you're a Q and I'm a Q. I'm finna come in here like I'm entitled. Be quiet and speak when spoken to. That's the discipline I got from my grandparents.
Who was the other comedian on the bed with you?
I was gonna
probably Sir Walt.
Oh, Sir Walt.
Yeah, a comedian that lives in Birmingham, Sir Walt. And he was mentoring a lot of us. But he was really into teaching. Come over here, sit down. We sitting there, he's standing up, walking back and forth. and he's talking to us, and I remember a couple of times I was about to nod off because I was so sleepy because I go to bed early. And but that was something that was life changing.
Steve still like that. I changed the title of my first book because of Steve.
Which
Really?
I was gonna name my book "I Don't Give a Fuck and Neither Should You: A Self-Help Guide on How Not to Give a Fuck." And we was driving around in a ranch in Georgia, and I told him that title, and he looked at me and he said,
He gave you the look.
No, player, that ain't it. He said, that's the problem with y'all. Y'all don't give a fuck. Y'all need to give a fuck. He said, our people need to give a fuck.
Right.
And he do the same thing, lectured me for about an hour, and I'm like, all right, I got it. You ain't.
Yeah. Big brother mentor. I was supposed to be on his morning show, and we had a big argument sitting in this truck. And then Rashawn got on the phone and said, no, you need to do your own thing. We're going to use nephew Tommy. He said, you go over here. If it don't work out, you can come be on the show with us.
Wow. So hold on, you were supposed to be a co-host on Steve Harvey's show.
So Steve was going to give me, when Steve left Radio 1, they said, who do you think? He said, Rickey Smiley. So I went down there to do the morning show with Steve for 2 weeks so he could gradually turn the show over to me. Hey, I'm going to be gone in 2 weeks, but Rickey Smiley going to be taking over. The chemistry was so good and we were so funny. I was just throwing him all kind of alley-oops, making him recycle jokes, and we were just so funny on the air together. We were looking at each other like, hey, man, we need to, you know, and me and Steve we was like, okay, we gonna stick together. I'm going to go to New York with you. And we got in the car, Rashawn, our other frat brother, who was Steve's manager at the time.
Rashawn,
you know Rashawn. Rashawn said, hell no. He said, no, you know, I just have this idea that you should go over here. We're going to bring in nephew Tommy, and if it don't work out, you can always come back. But let's give this a try. Let's see how you do.
Was that tough to hear that? Because think about it, like you go to New York with Steve Harvey, it's like you said, for what you think. Was it hard to accept that? No, you shouldn't.
Nah, it wasn't, because once Steve gave me that look when he did the phone, he just kind of, you know that look.
That's right.
You know that look when he gave you that big brother look. Like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and you're not gonna argue with him.
Right. Who do you do that for? That I mean, because you talk a lot about people that you mentor and that you help, but like, who's somebody that you do that for that like we might not know about that might have started in your clubs or just unknown and now is like taking over comedy wise?
Oh man, Lil Duval was somebody that I have a real good relationship with, that I was doing some, you know, mentorship. Because remember, I was the host of Comic View in 2000.
Right. So you was a lot of people mentored just by being on that show.
Right,
yeah.
Right. That's what
85 South Show said.
They told me.
I saw that. Yeah.
I'm tripping. Like Carlos Miller was like, bruh, I met you when I was 14 years old. You was in a hotel. I got excited. I'm hearing these stories and stuff, man, not realizing the impact on comedy, because I'm on BET Monday through Saturday.
Right.
Like when Comic View really blew up, it was in Atlanta, and then I hosted again, Charlamagne, in 2004. And then the year after 2001, I had my own little TV show, The Way We Do It. That was the first time, you know, and I was doing all these characters and all these voices and all this kind of stuff. And so when comics needed help and needed mentorship, I would always, you know, hey, dress nice. Hey, stop cursing. Does that curse word make that joke funny, or are you cursing just to be cursing? That's a real thing. I just had that conversation with a comic. I said, hey, man, you curse too much. The cursing is not making the joke funnier, but if the curse word is a part of the punchline, then use it. I said, because it's like, I give the onion example. Like you eat an onion, it's nasty, but if you take it and chop it up and saute it and put some flour on it, you're still eating an onion, but you can't taste it.
That's right.
It's just an analogy that I use with comics, and I make them redo the joke. And that's like, damn, you did the same joke and got the same laugh, got a bigger laugh, because people are not offended.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's no training in stand-up anymore. You know, back then in the 80s, late 80s, 90s, comics would pull you to the side. Mark Curry and them, they would pull you. George Wallace got on my ass so bad one night.
Why, you was bombing or what?
No, man. I did some jokes behind him after he headlined the show. I didn't know any better. He said, you don't do them damn jokes after me. He said, God damn it, I'll make one phone call, your career over.
Damn.
You motherfucker. I said, I'm sorry. He said, yeah, you say good night, read the announcement, and bring your ass back tomorrow. I said, yes, sir.
Damn.
Wow.
And I came on back. He was nice to me the next night, and he won't admit it to this day. I said, Joey, you remember? He said, I didn't do that shit. Shut up. But it was good. I needed that. Shit, if I got a booger in my nose, tell me. Don't let me be out here bad. Pull me to the side and help me.
But you can't even do it. You feel like you do that nowadays, and somebody will be like, "Oh man, he threatened me.
He hate my feelings.
He hurt my feelings. He hate me. He insulted me, offended me." It's like, what?
Man, I tell comics, man, because that's the only way. Ask Corey Holcomb, ask D. Ray Davis. I used to get at them all the time about little stuff, man. I'm like, hey, man, you I think D. Ray was 19 or 20 when I bought him to Birmingham. I said, you can't drink nothing. You can't have that. Give me that. Fussing at him about little stuff, man. And now he's great, and we laugh about it all the time. He's just going to always be my little brother or whatever. They all come to the house. If you ever come to Birmingham, you know you're welcome. I cook my ass off or whatever. So
that 100,000 square foot house?
I love
Sitting on 100 acres of land?
I wish. Yeah, right. y'all always welcome.
Now there was a rumor that in your contract it said that you had to wear a dress.
Oh man, I don't pay that stuff.
God damn, man. You should have put. You just bit into the onion. You ain't put no flour on it. You ain't sauteed and nothing. God damn.
Hey, and so I started doing comedy. 89, man. You think there's a contract somewhere?
I'm just messing with you.
I know it.
Oh.
I know it. That didn't bother me. What bothered me was people believed it.
Oh yeah, they did. Because it's always been that thing about the wear the dress, the not wear the dress,
It's comedy.
Yeah.
Listen, it's comedy. I grew up watching Flip Wilson.
Yeah.
Flip Wilson is the greatest of all time. And right when you laughing at Flip Wilson, he turned around to do Geraldine. Me and I would sit there and watch that with my grandmother. My characters came, man, I was doing prank phone calls on the radio. I was doing Bernie Jenkins. And whoever would have thought a character that you do on the radio, calling funeral homes and all this stuff, turn into a character and somebody asks you to play the character in a movie or whatever. You know, it's funny that all that stuff is taboo now.
They do that in Philly, Mother Knows. They do it on Power 99. You ever heard it?
No.
And they do the calls. I just thought about that when you said it. I don't know if they got it from you, but Mother Knows, they prank call people all the time. But
Yeah,
that's the
man.
thing in radio. Everybody do prank calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
Mother knows.
I started out listening to the Jerky Boys.
Yeah,
and then
Crank
Roy,
Yankers. Remember
Roy,
Crank Yankers?
Yeah, Crank Yankers, Roy Mercer. But the characters develop. I do a redneck character. I do Buford. I do Bernie Jenkins. I do Joe Willie. I have a gospel quartet. Joe Willie and the Deuteronomaires, you know, little gospel group. I do Lil Darryl.
Lil Darryl. Yeah.
Precious. I do a lot of characters. I'm talented. I play the trumpet. I play the French horn. I play the bass guitar. I play the tuba. I'm an organist. I play the B3 Hammond at church on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? I study music. I'm just multi-talented, and you can't make everybody like you. I have never did anything, had any beef with any kind. I had one beef with a comic, and it was a quiet beef for 20 years, and that was Arce J. Me and Arce J could not freaking stand each other. We had, I think
Why?
Because a show happened, and you know, comics get there early and go on first. You know, Arce had got there and didn't do the order, or either something happened, but we had beef. Nobody knew about it.
Right.
Right? Let me show you how God worked. Nobody knew about it. COVID came. I'm sitting on Delta. I'm in Fort Lauderdale Airport getting ready to fly to Atlanta where I could drive home, you know. And I see a dude getting on a plane with a mask on. He got fishing rods. Well, who fished? Arce J, Lavelle Crawford, and what's my man, Shadiq Houston. Those are the three comics that really fish. They fish. They go fish. I said, that's Arce J. I hadn't spoken to Arce J in 20 years. And so I got up, and he was sitting right next to me. And he sat right next to me. I didn't say nothing.
Oh, that's God. God was testing you.
I saw his eyes. I said, I know that's Arce J. I hadn't talked to him in 20 years. Like, it wasn't no ugly beef like, I'm going to kill you. Just like, forget you, or whatever. And I'm a Christian person. I'm all about resolving and loving on people because that's my heart. And I grabbed his arm, and he did it like that. And I grabbed it, and he's like, what? And I pulled my mask down. Man, he started laughing. He started laughing. So Charlamagne, give me your hand. The other hand.
Oh.
The whole flight, me and Arce J like this. Because when he started telling me that the 20 years, all the people that passed away,
God,
everything that happened to him, we cried the whole flight.
Wow.
From Fort Lauderdale to Atlanta. I said, man, I apologize. He said, no. He said, my wife been trying to get me to called you for years, been on me about that. I said, nah, you don't have to. It was just love.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had always said, if I see her on there again, I'm just going to tackle him. I saw Cat one time, and he had said some stuff. That's before the internet came out.
Mm-hmm.
He had said some stuff years ago. He was roasting all the comedians that wore a dress, that play a character. You know, he was roasting all. We was talking about it on the Foxhole one day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving down 14th Street in Atlanta. I saw a cat walking across the street. And I had my granddad in the car. I was in my Ford F-150. And, you know, I'm one of the type of dudes, I don't be carrying. I'm like, hey, cat, what's up? He was walking to Starbucks. I'll never forget it. He said, come over and have a cup of coffee with me. So I went over there. And before he went to Starbucks, he came around. I said, hey, man, cat with him. I said, this is my granddad. Or whatever. My granddad saw you on TV before. My granddad said, yeah. And Cat stood in the door, had a conversation with my grandfather or whatever. And that was like one of the last times I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no issue because it's all love or whatever. Because, you know, I don't know why I never did anything to him. If I did, you know, I'm always open man enough to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
He felt like he was clearing the record on Shay Shay, because I think or was it that he was supposed to play a role? You said
Money
you were
Mike.
supposed to be
Yeah.
Money Mike or something like that?
Well, I did. When I went out there, I auditioned for that part. And that's what I really auditioned for. I didn't audition for the Santa Claus. If I'm not mistaken, the Santa Claus role was supposed to be for, what's his name? He played in the first Friday, the comedian that passed away.
Oh, man.
That was on drugs and stealing and breaking in people's house.
AJ Johnson.
AJ Johnson.
Yeah.
AJ
I think AJ Johnson was supposed to play the Santa. Now this is what I heard or whatever. And they put me in that role because at that time I was on BET and stuff like that. But I did audition for it. That's what I went out there and read for. My manager at the time came on the air, cleared that up. David E. Talbot came on Instagram and cleared up the fact that there's no contract. He had hired me to play my role in the movie First Sunday before he hired Cat. He cleared that part up.
But Cube clarified it too. Cube
Absolutely.
said that you did audition for Money Mike,
Right.
but when they saw how you moved, they thought you'd be better for Santa Claus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, and I don't have no beef. I love everybody. If there is an opportunity to resolve, that's why the rap beef and stuff with rappers getting killed. I don't want comedy to ever come to that. You know, that's not what I do. That's not how I was raised. You know, we from the South,
That's right.
and we just don't do that.
I want to talk about some of the revolutionary stuff I feel like you've done in radio. I feel like Dish Nation.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We had never seen that before. And I mean, you know, as a radio head, to see radio personalities on TV in that era, that felt like watching Howard when Howard did it on E.
Right.
So that was a revolutionary thing. And also making the move to Urban AC.
Yeah.
Like knowing when it was, I don't know if you knew it was time or like how that happened.
It just happened perfectly. We was on the hip hop stations and it was great, but we was getting older. You know, I'm almost 50. Brett, you know, we all in our 40s or whatever. We ain't got no business playing certain stuff because you gonna naturally age. You just can't be on the radio. We don't even know who we didn't know who some of the rappers are that we playing. Like, who is this? Now, Brett, the first female rapper to sell over 1 million. She like, who? You know, you got the back seller song. This who? We looking over the top of our glasses. like, what the fuck?
But y'all used to make it funny though. I used to watch y'all. It would be funny.
Yeah, but we just naturally got older. And then when Tom Joyner retired, they just slid us over. And now we playing R&B songs, and now it's just relaxed in the morning. We just we chill.
Whose idea was it to throw Portia or to get Portia on the show?
On Dish Nation?
Yeah,
I think
that was so good.
Well, Portia, she would fill in for Brat.
Okay.
Portia came, did a great job, and she would fill in for Brat. And then they said, hey, you want to do Dish Nation? So anybody came in and filled in, the producer and said, hey, we can get you some makeup right quick. Can you do Dish Nation? Here's the script. And it's nothing. It's just reading a teleprompter and talk about what we have already talked about on the radio. Then we was doing Dish Nation while we was on the air. So during commercial breaks, we would shoot a scene from Dish Nation.
Wow.
Oh, I don't know why I thought that was the show.
Yeah, I thought it was a show.
Yeah, I thought it was just clips of y'all show.
No, man, we was shooting when we first started. We was in that damn same room for 6 hours. We was working our ass off.
And when did you know you wanted to do radio? Because radio is not a job for everybody, right? People say they love radio,
Right.
And then when they got to get there an hour before and 2 hours after, and they can't move, and especially with comedians because you guys are on the road,
Right.
You might not be able to go on the road some days. So when did you know that I'm gonna stay with this?
Man, I used to listen to these two white dudes named Mark and Brian. You remember Mark and Brian, Charlamagne? They big in L.A.
Mark and Brian. I don't
Mark
remember
and Brian, they
Brian.
had this big-ass morning show, but they came from Birmingham. These are the first dudes I used to hear doing characters, and they did some prank phone calls, too. So I used to listen to Mark and Brian. In high school, they went to L.A. and became famous, but they came from Birmingham. And I was like, y'all ever listen to them white dudes on Kicks 106? You know, because that's how I got into soft rock. That's why I'm sitting up here listening to Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles and Steely Dan. You know, I be on some chill stuff. You have to listen to that stuff, you know. But I was crazy about radio, and I wanted to do it. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I drove, when they put up the new station, hip-hop station in Birmingham, 95.7 Jam. You know Deja?
Yeah.
Deja came from our radio station.
Wow.
Deja came from our radio
Deja
station.
used to be up here. Yeah, she used to be up here. She's on WBLS now, right?
No, you talking about another
Oh,
day.
you talking about another Deja? Not
Yeah,
that Deja.
Deja, she's on with,
He think about Deja Vu.
Deja Vu. That's what I was talking about.
yeah,
Deja
she's
Vu.
on with Kelly, that TV show, whatever.
Kelly and he used to be Ryan and Kelly.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
She's on that. And then Roy Wood Jr. came from, we all come from WBHJ, 95.7 Jam.
Wow.
I drove 60 miles every morning just for the opportunity to be on the radio, and I got paid nothing. I was hungry, and I wanted it. Steve used to tell me, hey, get on the radio. That keep your name out there. It keep your brand out there. So now, Charlamagne, I do my comedy shows during the week. I don't do comedy clubs on weekends. So I'll do a show. I just go do a 7 o'clock show at an improv, and I'll do the improv Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's my 4 shows, and get it in like that. I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. The show start at 7.
That's right.
I'm back at the hotel asleep, and I have my weekends off.
The morning show started at 7?
No.
I thought you said the show started at 7.
The comedy show.
Done at 9. Okay.
Morning show started at 5.
Deja, when you said Deja, I don't know why I thought of Egypt, but Deja Vu, she used to be Earthquake co-host on BLS.
Yeah.
At one point.
With the short haircut.
Yeah. She DJ on
Right.
Kelly and whatever Kelly. I don't know who's on there now. Kelly and Ryan. It should be
Ryan and Kelly.
I think Ryan left to do Wheel of Fortune.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, man, we had that was a great station. We won. Took down the #1 station. And just doing good radio. Morning show boot camp, learning about breaks and timing and all that stuff. I take radio serious, man. Show prep, air checks, listening to yourself, playing it back. Like I take it serious. And if you're not serious about
now, that's a lost art.
Yeah.
That is a lost art. Doing radio the proper way.
Absolutely.
Air checks, knowing when to go into breaks, teasing, looking at clocks. That is a lost art.
Yeah, you better hit that 53. You better be out there. You know about that 53.
What do you love more, stand up or radio?
Oh, God. Damn, that's a good question. Radio don't give you butterflies. Radio is just sitting here like right now. I'm comfortable. It's cool or whatever. Stand up gives you a little bit of anxiety because you got to perform. You got to go out there. People pay money to see you perform. But my stand up has been great. I'm probably funnier than I've ever been. I got a special coming out. We in negotiation with Kevin Hart right now to release a comedy special.
That for you.
Oh yeah, I haven't done a comedy special in like 12 years.
Wow.
But it's funny as hell. It's probably my Dave Talbert. He directed it. Him and his wife Lynn, they directed it. It looked good. It's gonna be funny. It's gonna be all over the place.
Recently shot stuff?
Yeah, just recently shot it.
Okay.
Yeah, I paid for it myself, and I just went on stage and killed their ass. So I'm really excited about that.
And what made you? Kevin Hart's Kevin Hart, but a lot of people go to Netflix too. Like, how did you decide who was gonna house it?
Well, we're gonna see. We in negotiation now because I just did an interview with Kevin Hart, and he asked me about a special. I was like, I just shot one. I said, you wanna present it?
Okay, so you
and
still
that's
shopping?
what started that conversation.
Got you.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. I absolutely love him.
Great dude.
Oh, great dude. Kevin, man, Jamie Foxx, all of them have been good to me my whole career. I didn't know Eddie Murphy was a fan. I met Eddie Murphy at his house or whatever. Went over there one day. I had a meeting with Tracy Edmonds. I think they were dating at the time, and she said, "Ed, play your prank phone calls around." I was like, "You lying? I said, are you serious?" And I ended up going over there, and there was some comics over there, and we had barbecue chicken, collard greens, cornbread, macaroni and cheese.
God damn.
It was like we had some real soul food, and that was my first time meeting Eddie Murphy, man. That was a pleasure. So that when you get to do stuff like that, and I'm on tour with Martin Lawrence right now, so that's my big brother. So
the funny thing is, you talk like you not one of them.
Yeah.
Like you in
Also,
that conversation.
I'm just humble, man. I'm still like, I kind of still feel like I'm kind of like just still young and in the game, because I feel young and in the game, and I know I'm a little older and stuff, and trying to coach younger comics, and I just kind of sit back and not try to do too much, but I just try to make sure when I do something that is special and that is awesome and that is funny. And my karaoke nights be sold out. My karaoke nights sell out faster than my comedy shows. My co-host has Down syndrome. And
What?
My co-host, Big Chris, has Down syndrome, and he is the funniest damn person. If you look at
You
my
can see him.
huh?
You can see.
No, I was sitting here
This
trying
guy's
not to
stupid.
laugh. I was going to ask you, like,
This guy's
can we
stupid.
laugh
This
at?
guy's stupid.
It's okay.
You can see it on him.
Why you do that, man? Don't do that,
And
man.
look, all you have to do is look up Rickey Smiley
I'm looking it
and
up.
Big Chris karaoke night.
And it was the.
And he know all the songs. He get up there, he sing. You can't get him off stage. I say, hey, Chris, you're not getting paid. You need to chill. He said, okay. You have to calm him down. I know how to.
Where did that idea come about? Like, how did that idea happen?
Rickey Smiley.
And Big Chris, you so messy.
Let me see.
Big Chris not even.
What songs he be doing, man?
What you made him sing?
You ever did Nelly Country Grammar?
Now
I'm going.
you really going to hell?
I can't. You see Big Chris? You see Big Chris?
Have you seen Big Chris?
Go, Big Chris.
Go, look.
Go.
Come on, can we get?
This
I
is-
haven't seen.
This is Big Chris.
Yeah, I ain't never seen Big Chris. Big Chris doing his thing, man.
Yeah, that's my call.
You pay Big Chris though.
Huh?
You better pay Big Chris.
Yeah.
He thought he only make down payments.
You really going to hell?
Yeah.
Oh,
He
man.
is funny as hell. So
Yeah.
so he like to bring ladies on stage and sit them in a chair and play a R. Kelly song, and he serenade them like the Kappas or something.
Oh, I gotta
R.
see that.
Kelly
man.
Down syndrome.
I got to
R.
see
Kelly
that.
and
You
Down
just gotta
syndrome
watch
all
the-
on one stage.
You just got to watch
You
the
out there.
video.
Oh, I got to
It
see
wipes
that.
the
Oh, my
audience
goodness.
out. I take him on the road with me. We do the Improv in Fort Lauderdale in Dania Beach. Sell it out.
He has a
everywhere.
set by
Nah,
himself. Oh, okay.
I bring him on stage
Got you.
in the middle of karaoke, and I have to set boundaries for him. And he love y'all. He love y'all. He watch y'all all the time. He got his phone. I bought him a
Salute
phone.
to Chris, man.
Yes, Big
Yeah, he
Chris.
always
Salute to
showing me
Chris.
something that y'all. Hey, he wants to come on the.
You should have brought him with
Bring
you,
him, man.
Next
Next
time
time
you
you
come
come
back,
I tell
bring
you
him.
what,
No,
when I come back,
don't
I'ma
bring
bring
him
him.
up
For
here
your
with him
special.
in here.
No, I would come on.
Yeah,
nah,
when you come for the
nah.
special, bring him up here.
Yeah.
I'm so
So when my special come out, we'll come up here promote it. I'll bring
Please.
Big Chris. That'll be my gift to your ass because you ignorant. Because see, we had the same kind of humor because we laugh at the same kind of shit.
My goodness.
Chris took me to the cemetery. I think he had a cousin that died. And this particular cemetery, you go there, you have to follow this red line. It's in Birmingham. We followed the red line. He was at the grave crying. And I looked up at the tombstone. It was Paul Bear Bryant, who was a former head coach of Alabama back in the 70s. I said, and I didn't tell him, see, you ain't shit.
You fucked me up when you said he took you to the cemetery. 'cause
Somebody had died. And we was at the wrong grave, but I just let him. I didn't want to tell him that we was at Paul Bear Bryant grave. So I had to get him back to the car. I took him, got him something to eat, and took him home.
Rickey Smiley, ladies and gentlemen.
Grief is grief, man. He got it out. Either way, Chris got
Pick
it
up
out,
his
man.
book, Sideshow is out right
Oh,
now.
my God.
And we
That's-
appreciate you for joining us, brother.
Thank you, man. I
And
love
don't be
you,
a
man.
stranger,
Nah,
man. You could come up here anytime
I'm
you would
coming
tell.
back.
We
This
don't
book
play
is-
those radio politics,
if you
so we
ever-
want you to come. Pause.
Look, if y'all ever in Miami, I have a boat. I'm a boat captain. I go to the Bahamas every fucking weekend in the summer. I dare you to take a weekend off and fuck with me.
Shoot, let's do
Say
it.
no
I'm
more.
down for that.
I dare
We
you.
broadcast on the boat.
You ask anybody, ask Jeff Johnson, ask David Talbot. We go, I drive all the way across the ocean to Bimini, Bahamas. It's only 55 miles off the coast of Fort Lauderdale. And I drive my boat. We go all the way to the Bahamas. I have a house that I rent. You are more than well. If you just get to Fort Lauderdale, you don't have to worry about shit. I got you.
Say no
Big
more.
Chris be there too?
I would. You ready
set
for
the
this?
boundaries on the boat?
I'm gonna fuck y'all up. Y'all ready?
If Big Chris is single, she might try to holler. You know?
What do you see what I had him to do on the front of the boat? Wait,
No,
oh
on
God.
the front of the boat.
Not the
That can't
Titanic.
be
Not the Titanic.
Hold on.
I hope you ain't had him like a Phantom emblem or something.
Hold on.
Titanic.
You finna scream, bro. Let me.
Don't show us no pictures you're not supposed to see.
This is Instagram or TikTok.
TikTok. Let me see. Okay, here it comes. It's just slow because I couldn't figure out that Wi-Fi. All right, here we go. Here we go. You finna scream when you see Chris. I don't have these. Okay, here we go. Here we go. When I tell you, you're gonna fall dead when you see this video. If I can get to it, where is it?
It's gonna be a meme with Uncle on social media.
Yeah, because he been saying, here we go. Here we go. It's coming.
Right. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Y'all, you ready?
I'm watching.
Ready?
We gotta put this in the video. Man, cut it out, man.
I can't laugh at that.
Cut it out,
I
Rickey.
cannot laugh at that. Is somebody holding him? That is not funny. No.
Cut it out, man.
Hey, salute to Big
You
Chris,
gotta,
man.
you gotta like the Phantom. You know when to think about the Phantom. What's that called, Envy? The Phantom what?
The Rolls Royce emblem?
But he got like a
Spirit
Phantom
of
emblem in
ecstasy.
the front.
It's the spirit of ecstasy.
Titanic, man.
Man, you stupid, man.
It's the spirit of ecstasy. That's like the Titanic.
the video.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
man.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Rickey Smiley.
That is me.
Bring Big Chris up here because she is
Oh,
single
man.
and she's looking.
You single?
You surprised, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
32. Oh, that went over my head.
I'm 56 now.
You still standing? You all right? Big Chris, back to Big Chris.
You trying to take Big Chris over Rickey?
I saw some video somebody was trying to get at you. Who was that trying to get at you? I watched that.
The baby? Was it the baby?
No,
baby.
when
Marlon Wayans?
Marlon Wayne?
no, the baby. That's the
Baby,
baby.
yeah.
That didn't work out.
Work out. It didn't go past the interview. Where was it going?
What?
Not you sit back down.
Put your number on my phone.
Rickey Smiley. Side
It's
show.
over. Side show is out right now, and it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.